Gatorade is the #1 proven electrolyte blend designed to hydrate better than water. So you can lose more sweat and raise your game. Gatorade, is it in you?
Not all meals are created equal. For instance, breakfast has the spicy egg McMuffin for a limited time, and lunch doesn't. McDonald's breakfast comes first. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
My cat Freddie loves to be brushed and cuddled. But stirring up his cat allergens meant sneezing and itchy eyes. Then I found Purina One Live Clear. It's cat food that reduced the major allergen and my suffering in as little as 21 days. Now, we feel closer than ever. If you have issues with cat allergens, you really need to try Purina One Live Clear.
Try new Purina One Live Clear today. Purina One, a difference from day one.
Hey everyone, welcome to this edition of Keep Watch Pass on the It's Not That Bad podcast channel and a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network. And it's time to celebrate. Now, let me give you a little backstory here. About 2 years ago, I came up with this idea of this little nugget of a show to add to the channel to release on Mondays called Keep Watch Pass. A little fun game to play in the week while you're waiting for us to talk about another bad movie. It gave us a chance to talk about good movies once in a blue moon. Occasionally. We still kind of lean on some bad movies here and there too, but it gave us a different way of talking about the films that we love. Or not. Some of the films, not so much. That was 100 episodes ago. This is the 100th Keep Watch Pass ever released. Holy crap. This is awesome. This was just a fun little thing to throw in. And now 100 episodes later, we're here. So here to celebrate with me on this centenary episode, my lovely wife, Carrie. Carrie, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Happy anniversary. And if I were to ask you to name all 100 episodes, go.
Oh, whoa. I can barely name the episode we're doing today, let alone go back to 100 episodes.
It's so true. Or what's even funnier is like, did you edit this episode, whatever it be? And I'm like, I don't remember. I remember nothing. I record them. I'm present when I record them and edit, and then I forget.
You're semi-present when we record, and you're semi-present when you edit. By the way, and I do want to also give a massive shout out here because this is very much a team effort on this podcast. So for in the beginning, I cut everything, but my lovely wife Carrie is also an editor. So all of the Keep Watch Pass episodes, all of your There Can Only Be Ones and your Spin Shuffle skips are now edited by the absolutely lovely Carrie. So give her an absolute round of applause. She does so much work behind the scenes, and I am ever grateful. Thank you so much.
Unless I miss an F-bomb or two. Because that's just language.
I think you're just trying to sneak it in.
Yeah.
I think you're just like, oh, he said a potty word.
I don't even notice it. It becomes like second nature, like saying the.
Well, when F-bombs are literally your love language, I guess it kind of makes sense.
It's really a sentence enhancer.
Right? And it's the all-purpose word. It really is the all-purpose word. They made a documentary about it. So come on. Anyways, we're on a serious topic here for our 100th episode because we're talking about movies that ended up being the final roles of actors before they passed away. So in prepping for this episode, I know myself, I stayed away from TV shows as I normally do. I was okay with the TV movie kind of thing. And if the movie was never released, of course, obviously I'd never watched it, so I couldn't really add to that. But it had to be the final film released of an actor for me. But here's what we're doing. Picking 3 each. A keep, a watch, and a pass. The Keep is one that serves as a wonderful monument to the acting of that actor, and it's a damn good film to begin with. The Watch is one where it's still a good film. always a good film on the watch. And The Pass is one that is not necessarily an indictment on the actor in question. It's just that the movie didn't sit with us. That has nothing to do with the person in question. Please keep that in mind. Recognize that these actors who have made so many wonderful films for us to enjoy has passed on. We are not crapping on any legacies. We're just saying that sometimes the movie doesn't work for us. That is personal preference entirely. So, Carrie, let's start off our 100th episode with you and your keep pick of films that were final roles of actors.
If I can just say, though, this subject matter is really a hard one this particular week because we recently lost Mr. Michael Madsen, Mr. Blonde.
Yes.
And I had in this lifetime the absolute honor of meeting him.
Yes.
And he was an absolute gem and a gentleman. And so to celebrate our 100th anniversary by honoring the work of all actors, because you know what? It's such a fantastic profession that they can entertain and make us laugh and make us cry and frighten us with their darkness, yet still in real life be such incredible human beings.
There is a real truth in that. I mean, life can get tough sometimes. It can. You just watch the news. And for an hour and a half to 2 hours, these actors and writers and directors and composers create stories and moments that are able to take you away from the crap of the regular day. And just whether the film is good, whether the film maybe not so good, but just separate you from reality for a short stretch of time. And even in the worst of films, and we've watched some bad films, but even in the worst of films, there's still just a moment of relaxation and time together. Not just you and the actors, but you and us when we're watching our films together or sitting down with the kids to watch a film. Like, films are always that shared moment together with whoever we're watching, or a break from the doldrums of the day and something to look forward to. So yeah, whenever we do these shows, sometimes we have a little bit of fun at the movie's expense or whatever, but know that it all comes from a place of love of just the art of filmmaking. So Carrie, back to you, your keep pick.
Well, see, I was just,
You were buying time.
fighting for time.
You were stalling.
Because I found this challenge really difficult. Really, really difficult. Either it was an actor or actress that I absolutely adore and respect and really want to pay respects to.
Right.
But I haven't necessarily seen what would be considered their final role. And so I have to lead with the absolute most obvious choice.
Right.
And that is, of course, losing Brandon Lee during the filming as an accident, an on-set, on-the-job accident where we lost Brandon Lee during The Crow.
To say that film had such an impact on me, because at the time that it came out and the soundtrack and the vibe of the whole thing, like there are a few films that I could watch over and over and over and over again. And you know what? Like, someone will always ask, and I get this a lot whenever I tell anyone, it's like, oh yeah, no, I do a movie podcast. Like, oh really? What's your favorite film? Duh. That's the question that stumps me every time. And I start running through all the films I love so much. The Crow is always in like that first 5 films that come to mind whenever I'm thinking of what my favorite films are.
Because it was so iconic. He brought the character right off the comic book page and onto the screen. He was Eric Draven.
But I think, I mean, yes, as cool as those moments were and whatnot in the film, there was something about the dynamic between himself and Ernie Hudson, the cop, from the film, who of course was also Winston Zeddemore in Ghostbusters. There was just something with the dynamic between the two of them. Like, The Crow is everything to me when it comes to what is a great 90s film, and maybe one of the best 90s film from a personal preference standpoint. One of the best. I'm going to put it right here. The best soundtrack of the 1990s, period. Nothing comes close to it. Some are good, don't be wrong, but The Crow is freaking awesome. Sequels, not so much.
But that was a fun journey, though, when we discovered I
think that's also why I've been very, very hesitant to watch the reboot. Because the sequels were not the tale of Eric Draven. They were different stories, right? The story of Eric Draven and Shelley Webster was the heart of The Crow. And I recognize that there are other Crow stories with other people who have died and become the Crow, and I get it. I do. And that helped with the actual, watching the sequels, because they were different stories. They didn't crap on the legacy that was Eric Draven. They were just different tales in an anthology, all based on the same mythology. But this new one retells the story, quotation fingers, retells the story of Eric and Shelley, and I don't like it. I haven't watched it. I don't like that they're retelling that story. There are so many other Crow stories that could be told. Why? Why take away from what Brandon Lee put on the screen and made iconic? Brandon Lee as the Crow is one of the most iconic images of 90s cinema. As much as I would say that Tim Curry was as Darkness in Legend, an iconic image on screen. And then in comes this film. It's like, oh yeah, we're Eric and Shelley too. No, you're not. You're not. I feel like that moment in Harry Potter. How dare you stand where he stood?
Oh, you dropped a Harry Potter reference.
That's right. I dropped a Potter bomb right there.
Respect.
You're excited now, aren't you?
Proud. I'm so proud.
Right. You're like Amy Santiago right now going, oh, Mama Mikey.
USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks, or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Visit USAA.com/bundle.
Bundle savings are off total premium, not available in all states or in all situations. To qualify, auto policy must be active prior to property policy issue, subject to change. Restrictions apply. Membership eligibility and product restrictions apply and are subject to change. USAA means United Services Automobile Association and its affiliates, San Antonio, Texas.
With a major selection of the looks your kiddos love, starting at just $4 in the Walmart app, a new school year means a stylish new them. Who knew? Find skater skirts and Crocs that say, I'm casual but cool. Sparkly sneakers that say, it's my classroom, you're just learning in it. And preppy polos that say, I'm the teacher's pet, even if they're mommy's menace at home. Find their favorite styles starting at just $4 in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
Finding a new job is stressful. But with Indeed, it doesn't have to be. Just fill out your Indeed profile with your skills, experience, and desired salary. The more you fill out, the better your matches will be. And hearing from hiring managers will be 2 times more likely. Relax. That's your Indeed profile sending opportunities your way. Indeed, the world can work better.
All right, well, I'm going to geek out for my keep pick if that's okay. There is a rule when it comes to the Star Trek franchise. And we've talked about this rule before, right? Even number films, good. Odd number films, not so much. Can't really say bad, because 3's not bad, right? 7's okay. I actually don't mind Insurrection. 5 is something. 5 is definitely something. But when it comes to the even number films, This is in my top 3 of all Star Trek films of all time. Tied for first, and it kind of depends on what my mood is at the time. It's either Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. Don't get freaked out about the worms. Don't get freaked out about the worms in the ears. Or it's Star Trek First Contact. But right behind those two is Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, and it was the final film of DeForest Kelley, who played Bones before he passed away. Holy crap. This was the film that made Star Trek Generations not so good. And I say that because this felt like the perfect, cinematically perfect curtain call of the original Star Trek crew. Even the end moment, they stop the assassination that's about to happen, and they bring the Klingon down and all that, and the ambassador is saved, and everyone's clapping around them. And it feels like this moment that was written and designed to be able to pay homage and almost thank for all the years and all their work. The work of Kirk, Spock, and Bones, and Uhura, and Sulu, and Shepard, the entire crew. And Scotty. And then, of course, they made Generations. It's whatever. But Star Trek VI, it is a fantastic Star Trek film and has everything that you want in a Star Trek film. Good action, good Klingons, a little bit of humor between the cast members, because you know what? Star Trek 4 proved that a Star Trek film can be fun and funny. Star Trek 6 is a perfect Star Trek film, in my opinion. It's not 2, it's not Wrath of Khan, it's not First Contact. Khan! But Star Trek 6 is welcome in my VHS player any day of the week.
Ooh, you said VHS.
Well, it's Star Trek 6 we're talking about here.
You also mentioned the earworms.
Yeah, so I'm just traumatizing you on multiple levels. You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm triggered.
Yeah. And keep in mind, too, Star Trek 6 is coming off of Star Trek 5, which actually won the Razzie for Worst Film of the Year when it came out. For my watch film, I'm got a little bit of national pride going on here because we're talking about the final film of John Candy. And for that, it's Canadian Bacon, the final film of his career that came out. I know he was also filming Wagons East around the time, but Wagons East came out before Canadian Bacon. And this film is, I'm getting tired of films that are supposed to be fiction and are starting to feel like, documentaries. But Canadian Bacon, between that and Idiocracy, they're a little too real right now. But whoo, let me tell you, especially the fact that, anyone who watched the recent Four Nations Cup and saw like the complete fisticuffs fest between Canada and the USA when they were playing against each other in Montreal. And then you realize like this whole thing started with a hockey fight in Canadian Bacon. It's like, oh crap, it's a documentary now. Canadian Bacon is a documentary.
Oh my God, are you suggesting that this is like the playbook?
If Canadian Bacon is the playbook for it, if Canadian Bacon and Idiocracy are a playbook for anything, we are. But I mean, who doesn't love a John Candy performance though? Let's be honest, right? Like, it's going to sound weird, but John Candy just looks like the kind of person, if you ever met, you just want to hug the guy. You know what
I love so much is his appearance in Home Alone.
Right?
That apparently, like,
the Polka King of the Midwest.
Yeah. But he ad-libbed that entire part, and I don't think he got paid. He just wanted to be a part of it. Like, love.
Like John Candy
Uncle
just
Buck.
he had a joie de vivre about absolutely everything. And, the great outdoors.
Oh, yeah.
Love the great outdoors.
And Barf.
Right? But I also remember watching SCTV, right? So, yeah, that's, of course, they're remaking Spaceballs, right? But
half man, half mutt.
Half man, half dog. He's his own best friend. But we've lost so many actors from that film. So, I mean, like, I love that they're making a new Spaceballs film. And I love that Lewis Pullman is being cast in it because, of course, Bill Pullman was Lone Star in the original, so his son gets to be part of the sequel. I love that. But yeah, Canadian Bacon, and I can't believe it actually qualifies and we haven't covered it yet, so Canadian Bacon needs to be on the list.
Let's do it. Put it on the board.
All right. Your watch pick.
Well, I'm going to take you back to when the boys were wee.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie, like, if we were on VHS, the tape would be worn down because we watched the Cars movies, many of them, and all of their off projects like Mater's Tall Tales. But I'm taking it back to the original Cars and the final role of Mr. Paul Newman as Doc Hudson.
I mean, what a perfect casting too, right?
Oh my gosh.
But keep in mind, like, Paul Newman loved auto racing. I mean, Newman Haas Racing, he was the co-owner of that team, right? So it makes total sense that of anyone, Paul Newman is involved in this.
I absolutely love the second movie and the honor that they create for him.
Yeah, it's so special how they made that little that moment. They gave him that moment in that film, right? And yeah, we've talked about Cars 2 on It's Not That Bad. We had our son on that show because, yeah, Cars 2, of course he was going to be on the show. So yeah, go back and listen to that one. That was oh my God, that was so long ago when we recorded that episode.
I know.
That was in our like first year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We've been around a while. Holy crap. But yeah, no, the first Cars film, I mean, it is a gem. I personally like Cars 2 the best out of the entire franchise, and Cars 3 I can give or take. But yeah, it doesn't happen without that first Cars, and we watched it so many times.
But there's a certain nostalgia to that too. I mean, how could I not pick that as my watch pick? Because that was indeed the movie we were watching almost every day when the kids were young.
Yeah. But to the same token as well, think of how brilliant that franchise is from a marketing perspective.
Well, we have most of all of the cars.
I know, but think about it, right? Hot Wheels and Matchbox, like every kid, you know, I don't know about girls, right? But boys, definitely. Every boy had at least some kind of Matchbox Hot Wheels cars in their toy chest because A, you could get them. They're everywhere, right? They were always, every kid loves cars and trucks and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, let's put some eyeballs on the windshield and call it a day. And all of a sudden you have a franchise, and it was perfect.
I love the carrying case. Remember they made like the Mack truck carrying case for your cars?
Yeah, and you open up the side, you put the cars in, close it all up, and everything's in there in one case. But I mean, like, even like back when I was a kid, right? Like all these like little like racetrack sets and whatnot. Like cars are the ultimate. Every kid had at least one, right? Whether it transformed or not, doesn't matter, right? Every kid had a car, or at least some cars. It was you go to the sandbox, right? You flatten out some roads kind of thing, and you make some little like piles of sand. Like, that's my house kind of thing. I'm going to drive my house. Like, yeah.
Stack a few books and make like a jump.
Ramps, exactly.
Ramps for the cars.
Every car has seen air. Let's put it that way. All right. Your past pick. And remember, dear listeners, we are talking about the movie as a whole, and just that the movie maybe doesn't necessarily sit with us. It doesn't mean anything at all about the actor in question. Your pass.
Passing, not on the actor. I am giving absolute respect to Richard Pryor.
Okay.
Love his comedy. But I'm passing on. Now, you know me, and you know that I like, you know, the stranger type concept movies, like anything Tarantino, or I'm thinking something Big Empty, or Five Signs Out of Ebbing.
Yeah.
But I'm passing on Lost Highway because even though I do love the kind of like, I don't know, road trip kind of movies, this one lost me. I was lost on the Lost Highway. It wasn't what I was hoping for in the movie.
I mean, I get that. This film actually falls into my list of movies where I have and love the soundtrack, but I have never actually watched the film in my entire life. The soundtrack for this was freaking awesome. Trent Reznor is all over it. I know Marilyn Manson's on there as well. This soundtrack is so freaking good and gives me so much hope for the future soundtrack to Tron Ares, because of course 9 Inch Nails is doing the soundtrack for that. But there are a few. There's a few films. I know SFW is one of them where the soundtrack is amazing, but yet I have never seen the film.
So you haven't seen it. So it stars Bill Pullman, Patricia Arquette. I think I was hoping more for like a Natural Born Killers type format.
Right.
It's directed by David Lynch. And I don't know, maybe that's why, is that I was expecting and hoping Tarantino when I got kind of more of a David Lynch adventure.
But that's the thing. Lynch is more, of course, he's Twin Peaks, right? So it's a bit more, it's a different weird vibe, right? And Tarantino and Lynch drive in very different lanes. Pardon the driving analogy, but I think it's apt at this point. So I can see if you were expecting Tarantino, you're not going to get that out of Lynch.
And also I saw it, maybe over 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So my memory might be a bit foggy.
Well, no, it'd be 20 years ago. 20, 25 years ago, which I get, you're old now, the memory's going.
Yeah. Well, 1997.
Okay. Yeah. So getting close to 30. Well, they say that memory is the second thing to go with age. Damned if I can remember what the first one was, but still. I'm, for my past pick, picking a film that we have talked about, not on this show, and not on It's Not That Bad, but we talked about it on a very special Grading on a Curve. When we did our musicals episode, I'm going with Xanadu, which of course was the final film of the late and definitely great Gene Kelly. Now, I want to point out that one of my favorite scenes in the film centers entirely around Gene Kelly, and it's that dance number scene between him and Olivia Newton-John, and just the grace and the swagger of his dancing in that scene has no place whatsoever in the film at all. Like, what the hell's going on here? But it's a perfect Gene Kelly moment.
Yeah, but when you have those two actors, that is...
Right?
I think it's actually required. It's in the contract that they must dance.
Like, I had nothing wrong with the scene, just had nothing to do with the film. Gene Kelly is great. Gene Kelly really is like the best part of that film.
I'm so glad you mentioned this because I had it on my short list. And I thought, you know what? We've already talked about this movie.
Yeah.
Moving on.
We've talked about this movie and we don't ever want to talk about it again. And we're definitely not watching it again. But Gene Kelly shines really in anything that he ever did. And even in a film considered to be one of the worst musicals of all times, you can still sit there and enjoy the moments that he's on. Even the freaking roller dancing kind of scene, which that came out of nowhere. The film makes absolutely no sense at all, but he's great.
I completely agree with that past pick, though.
Yeah.
I never want to go back to Xanadu.
Yeah. And by the way, if you do go back and listen to our Grading on a Curve movie musicals episode, you can suffer through my singing during the Pentagon of Pain. So I warn you now, I'm so sorry. All right, Carrie, before we go, please remind our listeners what your keep, watch, and past picks are from movies that were final roles for actors.
I'm keeping The Crow, watching Cars for the 1,548th time.
Thanks, kids.
And I am passing on The Lost Highway.
All right, I am keeping Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. I am watching Canadian Bacon, and I am passing multiple times on Xanadu with a hat tip to Gene Kelly, who was still awesome in it.
I'm agreeing on that pass.
Carrie, thank you so much for this. And 100 episodes of Keep, Watch, Pass. You know, we haven't done a volume 2 yet, and we have so many more topics for you guys to dive into. So thank you all for listening to 100 episodes of Keep Watch Pass. On to the next 100. But until that time comes, you guys know the drill. If there is a topic that you want us to cover on Keep Watch Pass or a movie you want us to cover on It's Not That Bad, hit us up on social media at Not That Badcast or go to our website at notthatbadcast.com. And if you like what you're hearing, pop on over to our merch section because anything you buy there helps us to keep this content coming to you. Until next time, she's Carrie, I'm Jay. You guys are awesome. This is Keep Watch Pass episode 100 on the It's Not That Bad podcast channel. Proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network. Take care.